Hello everyone, thank you for joining me again. Time for some retro action, as per usual. My name is Nick, and this is Turbo Cup on the ZX Spectrum 48K, published by a French company Loriciels in 1989. Also come out on the Amstrad CPC and the Commodore 64. I have reviewed it before on the Commodore Amiga. Here we go, ready to start. And I think my main criticism on the Amiga version was the chase view was a bit too high and it was very difficult to overtake. So the green light's about to go. I'm doing this on keyboard. Q to accelerate, A to decelerate, and O and P. What could be more difficult? Now the frame rate doesn't look brilliant on this, but you know, it is 1989. I don't want to compare it to 4K race or 4K race refueled plus. Now if you go too fast around the bends, the car will spin out, so you do have to concentrate and judge this a bit. Speed in the bottom middle. Graphics are pretty much how I would expect. So we've got a qualifying lap, and that dictates, as you probably know if you know how racing works, that dictates our place on the grid for the actual race. And we'll see if overtaking is easier on this version. Now I can be a bit more forgiving on the 8-bit version because less is expected than what the Commodore Amiga did. I really was expecting a much better game, but this doesn't look too bad at the moment for the time. The car is nice and big. It does look quite cool, and we did go too quick round that bend, so the car goes into a spin. You'll see nice touches like when you brake or spin, dust comes from outside the car. It doesn't really compare to Chase HQ or any of the super racers that move quite fast, but this is okay. It's not bad. If I had it as a kid, early impressions, I wouldn't have been too disappointed, but the longer you play it, the more frailties you see. It's not just a no-brain racer. You do have to concentrate around these corners, and the car does angle itself left and right. It doesn't just stay the same straight angle all the time, so hats off there. Looks like this might be better comparatively compared to what the machines can do, a better version than the Commodore Amiga one. Now this game also came out on the Amstrad CPC and the Commodore 64, which I haven't played because I didn't own those systems. So if you did have this game on those ones or played it since, either on the real machine or emulated, then let me know below because I'm always interested to see how they play. ZX Spectrum games quite often are a little bit monochrome, the races, because I think it's easier to program and avoids colour clash, but that's okay, I don't mind. Here we go. Could do with being a bit quicker, but what were you going to do? Sprites are quite nice. The scenery, the horizon at the back there, I can't really make out what that is. Is that an industrial place? I do not know. So we're going through some imaginary championship. I can't recall what car this is. Maybe it's a Porsche of some description. I should have looked that up before. Now this lap's going on quite a way. The gears are automatic, which helps duff racers like me. No option to do manual. I think I've gone round too quick there, and we've lost it. So to get the best speed, you really have to judge the speed of the corners. They're not the same corners each time. You will get long sweeping corners, sometimes quite sharp ones, and ones that seem to go on forever and ever. With some straights, I think the maximum speed this car can do is like 140. We'll try and get it up to that at some point. I'm sure there must be a long straight. There's different tracks, although they do look rather similar. Car goes a bit see-through when it does that spin, but you know. 1989, can we forgive for 1989? Starting to get a little bit late for us to start forgiving that sort of thing, but you know, the sounds are a little bit high, but you do get the impression that the car's changing gears. Sounds a bit like a wasp stuck on a window, but we are being a bit overcritical now. Now the lap's going on miles too long for me. I wanted it to end. We'll just do one qualifying lap and then one race, and that'll probably be enough. We won't do a whole championship. Now back in the day, remember, there was no save feature on the ZX Spectrum, so if you had to do the whole championship, you had to do it all in one go, and if you had an older 48K Spectrum like I did, it's going to heat up pretty quickly, and by the end, if you won the championship at the end, well, your house will probably be on fire, and your parents will be shouting at you. Nick, you've set the house on fire again, you fool. They never said that, because yeah, it did get hot, but I used to turn it off. The computer probably have failed before then. It put up with a lot of punishment, that 48K Spectrum. There's the finishing line, I think, and the car does a lovely little skid. Now, where have we qualified? We did a few muck-ups. We've qualified 4th. Right. So here's the race. Obviously, we want to win. I would like those lights to be red and green rather than monochrome. Don't know why they didn't do that. They could have been able to do it because red and green was on the Spectrum colour palette. Right, here we go. Now, will overtaking be as tricky as the Amiga version? They tended to stay in single file on the Amiga version, making it difficult to overtake. I think another one of my criticisms now coming back to me is if a car bashes into you, you go into a spin, but the AI controlled car, oh dear, doesn't. So you're the only car that can spin, which makes you a little bit vulnerable in the race. Well, very vulnerable, I should say. I think the Amiga version, you had a blue car and all the other cars were yellow, or vice versa. Alright, we're down into 6th place. Oh, they're coming past me quickly. Maybe I'm just quicker on the straights and that's where I gain all my time. But let's try and hang on to these people. I think there's about 18 cars in the race, something like that. Or is there 10? Anyway, let's just try and get our positions back. Would have liked the grass to be green, maybe. No, it's... Oh, Nick, you're pushing too hard, sir. I've got duff tyres. It's not handling very well. Now, you can't buy upgrades on this car. You just got what you have. So this is pretty much all the gameplay straight away. As a kid, you probably would have got lost in this. You would have ignored the frame rate because it was pretty good for the time. And you would have got involved in the championship. So, you know, I could see this eating up lots of hours. I didn't own this one back in the day, but as I said, would probably play this for a long time, despite not being absolutely perfect. It's a simulation, isn't it, rather than an arcade game? Is it? No, well, it's arcade stroke simulation. This guy's not going to go round me, is he? No. Oh, I'm going a bit wide. Oh, man. Hang on to him. I'm down into 9th now. Let's just try and finish in the top 10. Oh, the car's on the edge of spinning out, I can tell. The AI seems to be able to go quick around the corners. They bash into you, they're still okay, and your car spins almost as if they weigh 50 times as much, which we know is not possible unless my car is made out of marshmallow or something. Could be. Check out that dust coming around out the car. Well, it's not now. Check out for that. Cool. They could have made the car a different colour, couldn't they? It does go see-through, as I say, when it hits the rumble strips. Right, we can get this guy now. We're on the straight. He's weaving backwards and forwards, a bit like Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge on the Amiga. That's not cricket. Don't weave. Look, there we go, trying to cut me up. And so there we go, so we've crashed. I've span, he hasn't. Boo! Yeah, I span twice there, and his car goes away undamaged while I try and get back on the track. Yeah, so that is very annoying. Very annoying. Would have liked to see a damage indicator, but that's not there either. Right, the car's still in sight. As long as we don't go too slow around the corners, we might be able to get him back. But I think overtaking on the corners, if they keep weaving, is virtually impossible. You have to time it right and get them on the straight, and don't spin like a hoodlum, like I've just done there. Turbo Cup. Sometimes... Oh, who's this twit? Sometimes called Turbo Cup Challenge. Oh, don't let him pass. He's going past. We're out the top 10 in a minute. 11th. No, 10th. Still got me in 10th. Or was I in 9th before? I think I was in 9th before. Right, 10th. So I started 4th and now I'm 10th. My car's underpowered. Maybe I need a gun. Shoot. Like Road Blasters. Shoot it. This game's better than Road Blasters, I would say. It's not as confused. Right, 10th. Going back slowly. And this lap goes on forever. I don't know where in the world we are. It might have said and I haven't noticed, but I don't think it did. The game just loaded. There was no menu. We just went straight into the game. So the front end is poor then. Straight into the game. Yes, come on. Overtake. Yes, there we go. That's probably the best and only overtake you'll see in this gameplay. But at least we've done it once. To prove I'm not a complete disaster head. The phrase disaster head I don't see in the dictionary. Is that the finish? No. I think that was lap 1, isn't it? Oh man, how many laps do we have to do? 2 probably. And I haven't slowed down properly. I think that was the end of the lap. Maybe it was halfway. Get back on the track or that fool's going to come past you. Oh, he's going to come past me now, isn't he? Where is he? Look for him on the right hand side. He hasn't come back yet. Can only be a matter of time. 9th place. Here he comes. Here he comes. Driving round the... Oh, so! Boo! He clipped me at the back. I spin. He's fine. That's so unfair. So unfair. I'm marking it down for that. Okay, but frustrating and slightly too slow. The Wasp is still at the window. What do you think of this game on any system? Check out the review some time ago on the Commodore Amiga if you want to compare that. I think the view on that one's slightly higher up. This works okay. I mean, the advantage of this view pulled back is you got more sight of the road. If it was tighter in, it might make it a little bit more tricky. And maybe wouldn't have been as forgiving on the frame rate. And another car's coming round on the inside. They're all the same colour. It's a white car versus all the black cars. I'll get out of the way. I'm not losing round the corner, so I'm getting better there. So it looks like round these sort of corners you need to be going about 70 miles an hour tops. 72, 75. Anything higher than that is going to cause the car to go into a spin. Get good acceleration out of the corner. But this is one of those bends that's seemingly going on forever. The AI seems to be on the accelerator already earlier than me. Don't know why. Got better traction. But when they was programming this, they probably wasn't thinking about AI traction. It's doing a lot, this, I think. Would you like to see a map? No, that's pushing it too much for 48k. Right, can I do this guy on the straight? He's weaving again. Yeah, and I've just gone off for no reason. Look, he's weaving back again. The stewards would ban. Right, another overtake. Another overtake complete. 2 overtakes. And he did not make it easy for me. It was like a Max Verstappen. Anyone that tries to overtake Formula 1 driver Max Verstappen, there's an 80% chance that they'll end up out of the race in a crash. He just never gives up. Oh, here he comes. No, he's going to get me on the inside. I can't cut him up, because we all know why. Because their car's invincible. Cut to the inside, cut to the outside. Must be near the end of the lap soon. Be nice to get this guy in the final bit. We're in 11th place. Top 10 will be great. Not sure how many cars score, or whether we do in fact get a menu or go straight into the next race. Or it might be the same race again. Who knows? So in summary, this game is okay. It's not terrible. It's just not brilliant either. Go, go, go. Tyres. No, there's no tyre wear in this. There's no fuel. Just that speedo on the left. You might have noticed that bar going up and down in blue. Check out the gears on the left. That red light there, or lever, tells what gear we're in. Don't have to worry about manual gears. So that's okay then. Let's just concentrate on the racing. Can I get this bloke? I'm in his slipstream. It's not calculating slipstreams, of course, but it's in a kid's imagination what the game's brought you quite often. No. Seems like he doesn't weave right to that side. 3rd overtake. 3 overtakes in one gameplay. 8-bit racing. What is your favourite 8-bit racer? Let's put it to you. If you know any games similar to this one, then let me know as well. I might come to them at some stage in our quest to review everything ever. That's it, is it not? That's it. Hooray! Well, I think we'll leave it there. I don't think a menu's going to come up. I think we're going to go into the next race. I hope you liked having a look at that one. That was Turbo Cup on the ZX Spectrum 48K, published by Loriciels in 1989. If you want to support the channel and keep it going, then have a look at Patreon, patreon.com/njenkin. Every little bit helps. So if you've got any comments about this or similar games, then put them below. Until next time, take great care of yourself and have a very fun. Goodbye.
Goodbye.